So I had adopted a dog, had it just for a couple weeks, and then moved in with my girlfriend for about a year. We decided to move in together. And the dog that seemed well house trained when I adopted her, and she worked very well at my parents' home where I was currently living. With the two large dogs that they had that were very well potty trained and very well house trained. So she had no real troubles. I mean, a couple accidents, but you'd expect that when you get a new dog. But once I moved in with my girlfriend, it was, all hell broke loose for lack of a better way to put it, really. Something, it was an apartment. It was still half a house, but we didn't have a yard. So she had to stay in a kennel because it was, hardwood floors, old stuff, didn't want her to ruin anything. And and she wasn't very well potty trained, and so I had to take her out on a leash too, of course, because we didn't have a yard. But something about the leash and the kennel combination, something with her past, which I learned from the SPCA later when I talked to him that she was kind of a battered and beaten stray, that just drove her nuts. I don't know what it was, but she would always urinate in the house and just get scared and run back in the kennel, and this continued for a couple of weeks, and I just kind of got to my wits end, and all I really ever did to reprimand her was reprimand her, I guess. All I ever did was yell and tell her what she was doing wrong, and she'd get scared and keep doing it wrong. But I was taking a management course, and we learned, luckily, about coaching versus counseling right when I was about to lose it and just take the dog back, for her sake, my sake, whatever. And realized that all I'd done was counsel and that I needed to find a balance between how I was doing the two and get a good coaching and counseling scheme going. So I realized that what I needed to do was, well, I devised a little plan, and I went home that day and put it to effect. So, of course, the dog did her usual urination when I tried to take her out of the kennel. And that was fine. So I put her on the leash after a couple more urinations and getting really scared, and I got her outside into an empty lot that was kind of ducked off where no one could see, and I actually urinated in the grass. Then praised myself and ate a snack. And she saw this and really pretty quickly kind of put two and two together. Used the restroom and got a treat for it, and I praised her a bunch, and we did this for a little while until uh, a lot more often than not, she was quite fine and went outside. And then, really, to put the icing on the cake, though, I realized I needed to borrow my parents' dogs. I brought them to our apartment for about a week, and everywhere along the way, uh, they would do everything right because they were very well trained. And I gave them a treat, and she would just get denied a treat anywhere along the way where she didn't do anything right. And it only took about a week, like I said, and she was just immaculate. Everything you could want in a dog, aside from the fact that she didn't fetch, but not really a problem. Um, and it was really that act that showed me that when I realized that though I had gotten her a good part of the way, that I needed to find that one act that was not only coaching but counseling, or not only counseling but coaching, that bringing those other dogs and showing her them being rewarded for a positive action rather than uh, I guess her being reprimanded for a negative action, or being even herself praised for a positive action, and maybe not understanding it, but seeing it so many times done right in succession. It was brilliant, and I that really helps me understand. Knowing that as a manager, one day myself and we all are going to have to coach and counsel our employees to get the best out of each and every one of them. Uh, but I think the first step in man management, or in each problem with man management, is to step back and focus on realizing what sort of a balance between the two you need for each unique situation.